Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and welcome to my prediction video for The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 14, which is titled, Look at the Flowers. So this episode looks really interesting. I think it's going to be more character-driven, more slower paced. I don't think it's going to be all action-packed, because episodes 9, 10, 11, 12 were kind of action-packed. I don't think they're going to give us, another one like that now. I do think it's going to be more character-driven, kind of building up towards the final battle of the Whisper War, which I'm assuming will be episodes 15 and 16. Hopefully they give us the field battle from the comics. I really want that. And then I'm assuming the finale is going to be a certain doom, which is kind of like No Way Out 2.0, where the herd goes to Alexandria and they're all having to take out the herd and all that stuff. Very excited for all that. Also excited for this episode though, because character driven stuff can sometimes be really damn good. And we got a lot to talk about here. So we have a promo and 3 sneak peeks to talk about. So the episode is titled Look at the Flowers, which kind of proves it's going to be very Carol driven. I mean, 2 of these 3 promos are Carol driven. So we're going to start off with all the Carol and Negan stuff, because that's probably what's going to be the crux of this episode, is my guess. We get one of the sneak peeks, which I believe will be the opening minutes of the episode, where we get to see a flashback to Carol bringing Negan out of the cell pretty much. So I'm glad they're showing us this, because you know me, I hate when they skip over things. I hate it. But I don't hate it if they go back to it eventually, you know what I mean? If they eventually show us what they skipped over, if it's important, like this is important. So I'm glad they're showing us this. I'm glad they're showing us the conversation between the 2. And it makes sense why they didn't show us it back then. It makes sense why it's being shown to us now. And basically the reason she gives to Negan for why she's letting him out is because, well, she needs the help. And then Negan's like, why should I do that? And then she says, because they will actually appreciate you and not hate you as much as they do. And they might actually forgive you eventually, or at least not forgive, but forget is what she's trying to say. Forget the bad things he's done, as opposed to forgiving him, because they're never going to forgive him for what he did. No shit. But maybe just forget it at least, so maybe he can be accepted as a member of the society and not in a jail cell, pretty much. So that's what Negan goes out there for, to kill Alpha. I still don't know why it took him that damn long. Did he really not have a moment? Like, I feel like he had plenty of moments. So that's why it was always off-putting to me. I'm like, is this really Negan's plan right now? Because he's taken so damn long to do it, you know what I mean? But I guess it was mainly because he wanted to make sure that Lydia was safe and Lydia wasn't with the Whispers. But I feel like she would have just known. I feel like he could have known that, because she was talking about how she was gone. I don't know. That's besides the point. We also get a sneak peek of Carol walking in the woods, and she kind of has a hallucination of Alpha. I don't think it's actually an hallucination though, because there's a difference between an hallucination and just simply imagining. You know what I mean? Because sometimes stories do this, a lot of movies and shows do this, where they show someone seeing someone, right, like that's not actually there. Now yes, it could be hallucination in some instances, but I do feel like the show overdoes hallucinations way too much, so I feel like it's just not in this instance. I feel like she's just imagining Alpha there, and Alpha says that I'm always watching, right? Which kind of proves to me that Carol's thinking that she didn't get closure, right? Even though she's dead, she doesn't feel like she actually got closure, because she didn't do what she wanted to do, which was make her suffer, right? She wanted Alpha to beg for forgiveness and stuff like that, and she never get to do any of that because she sent Negan out, which I'm assuming Negan was just like a backup plan. She probably wanted to do it herself, but Negan was just like some sort of, like I said, a backup plan, and clearly the backup plan is what happened first, therefore she didn't get to do what she really wanted. She still got her dad, but she doesn't feel closure. I don't think she's seeing her there. I believe it's just her imagining it, and they're just showing us it for a somatic perspective. I don't think she's hallucinating, because hallucinations, they don't happen that easily. Hallucinations sometimes happen with people who are like schizophrenic, or people who are, which I think was honestly in Morgan's case. Morgan had all sorts of problems. I feel like Morgan's character was he definitely had some sort of a bipolar personality disorder, but he could have been a little schizophrenic too, because he was seeing hallucinations, unless those weren't hallucinations and instead they were him imagining it. But the reason why I'm saying the hallucinations is because he attacks these people that he sees. Why would he attack them if he was just you know what I mean? So I believe Morgan was a little schizophrenic, all sorts of things. But Carol, I don't really think is the same way, so I really don't think she'd be seeing people. You do sometimes hallucinate when you lose a lot of blood. That's why Rick was hallucinating that one time. And of course, drugs can do it to you as well. That's why Michonne was doing in his previous episode. But just just being upset because your son died is not really going to make you hallucinate unless you got some internal issues, which she's got some stuff going on right now, but it's not severe. So I do think she's just imagining Alpha there. I don't think she's actually seeing her there, is what I'm trying to say. Then we get her putting the head on a spike, which is the coolest thing ever. I love that. I've been saying I wanted it to happen for a long time. A lot of people were telling me they don't think it's going to happen because it's kind of showing the Whisperers that they're no better than them. They're doing the same stupid shit that they did. But it works here because it's Carol. Carol doesn't care. Carol just wants vengeance, and that's all she really cares for right now. So her putting her head in a pike, it makes perfect sense, and I actually really like it. And then Negan's kind of pissed at her because she's kind of just saying that she's going to leave, which I really hope she does. I mean, I feel like they're just... Carol's character, I like. I love her character, right? But the problem is I feel like they're writing her character in circles. Like, she just is repeating the same exact things that we've seen happen with her like 4 times already. We've seen her say, I can't do this, I'm leaving. Like 4 fucking times. Stop! We've seen her lose a child that was close to her like 4 fucking times. That's why I was pissed when they killed off Henry, because I was like, we've seen this so many times. I know this is for Carol's character, but change it up a bit, man. I mean, it's just repetitive, and hoping this is the last goddamn time. Honestly, they're writing it into the point where it sounds like this could be the end of Carol. Like, that's just the way they're writing it. But I don't think it will be, not even close. I think she's going to be long-lasting even more. But, like, can they stop writing her character like that? Just get her to a point where, you know, she's content with everything and she's fine. I really liked her in season 9 when she, you know, grew out her hair and she was all lovey-dovey with Ezekiel, and she was finally safe again. And I do like how when Alpha came back, it kind of put her in that place where she wasn't safe anymore, especially after losing her son. I was okay with that afterwards, after I realized it's a repetitive storyline. But can she just... She's got Alpha killed. She's dead. Why is she leaving again? I don't know. Whatever. But Negan's kind of pissed at her because she won't hold up the end of her bargain, which was, of course, to just vouch for Negan simply. All Negan wants is for Carol to tell the others that Negan's a good guy. You know, he saved me or something, or he killed Alpha, just to vouch for him at least. Because if Carol vouches for Negan, of course, everyone's more likely to be like, okay, we'll accept you. You know what I mean? So that's just what I think, at least. I mean, I don't think that it'd be that easy. I'm not telling what I'm saying, but... And then Negan comes across the cabin, I believe the same cabin that... It is the same cabin that he tied Lydia up in, and Daryl's in there, and then Daryl attacks him. Now, I'm assuming that Lydia went back to Daryl and told Daryl what happened, that Negan captured her, which is exactly why I said that was stupid. I feel like people were pissed at me. I got so many dislikes on that video for simply saying I thought it was kind of stupid how Negan captured Lydia and tied her up. Like, people were freaking out trying to explain it to me, and I said I understand, but it's still a stupid idea, because not only are you putting her in probably, I wouldn't say more risk, but definitely an equal amount of risk, because what if a walker comes up, breaks down that door? What if a person comes up, like another Whisperer, breaks down that door? It's a dangerous situation, right? She's tied up, so that's not really good. And of course, from Daryl and everyone else's perspective, I mean, Lydia's going to go back and tell everyone what happened. They're going to just kill you on sight, Negan. That's the thing. But they don't. I believe Daryl will probably talk to Negan, and they're probably going to have a little bit of a fight here and there. It's going to be kind of like the Aaron versus Negan stuff, where Negan's going to be trying to explain himself, and Daryl's just not going to let him. But eventually, Negan will get it out and say exactly what happened, and tell, you know, Daryl everything. Lay it out for him, and I think Daryl's still going to probably lock him back up in the cell. I don't feel like he's going to, you know, just be like, oh, well, I'll let you go free, Negan. Or maybe Negan will tell him about Carol leaving, and then that'll cause Daryl to have to follow Negan to go find Carol together, right? Is this what's going to lead into Daryl and Negan versus Beta? Possibly. Again, I want that to happen in the context of a war, though. I don't want it to just happen randomly. I want the field battle, and I want them to be fighting on the field in front of all these other Whisperers, just like the comics. I really want that, but I just find it interesting how this is all happening in this episode. And then we have the other portion of the episode, which is about Eugene, Ezekiel, and Yumiko leaving to go to the meeting spot with Stephanie to the Commonwealth. Now, which is interesting to me. It's only these 3 characters. In the comics, it was, I believe, Sadiq, Eugene, Yumiko, Magna, and Michonne. I feel like they should have just had Magna alongside with them. I mean, I guess maybe because Magna and Yumiko were like fighting, but I mean, they're kind of made up. So, just to add another character there, I would have liked Magna there as well. But it's not that big of a deal. I think it's fine. What I'm interested in is Ezekiel's going. Now, is he going because he's sick, or is he going just to go because he doesn't feel like they need more hands on deck, so he's just going? Like, I don't know, because originally I thought maybe they'd be going there because they knew that Ezekiel could get some help, that maybe at Commonwealth, but at this point in the story, Eugene has no idea what her community is like. Eugene doesn't even know if she has a community. Eugene just knows that she's meeting up with him, right? So they have no idea as to what this community could entail, if there even is one. I originally thought maybe he would go there to get some help with, you know, his tumor situation, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like he's just going because he knows it might be a risk, but he wants to keep, you know, them safe. Now, I'm interested as to why Yumiko's going. I'm very surprised that, like, Magna, Kelly, Luke would just be okay with that. I feel like they'd be, like, fighting back. I feel like they should have just all gone, honestly. At least a couple of them, maybe. I feel like that would have fit better. But whatever, a 3-man group is fine. Obviously, they're going to come across Princess on the road. That's an obvious thing. I'm hoping they come across her in this episode because I really do want to see Princess already. Really excited for her character and what she entails because she's one of the more interesting characters in the comics. She's not really important, like, at all. Like, she's one of those characters you can throw out of the story. Wouldn't make much of a difference. But she adds a lot of comedic value to it, like kind of like what Negan adds to the show. And I would really like that, especially because she's almost like a Harley Quinn. Like a protagonist, like a, because, you know, Harley Quinn's a villain, more of like a heroic Harley Quinn, you know, like a nice Harley Quinn. That's what she feels like, and that's, I'm assuming, what she's going to bring to the table, and I'm pretty excited for that. I feel like we need some of that lightheartedness in the show, and I feel like that would be completely fine with me, and I'm hoping in this episode introduces her. And Eugene seems like, you know, he's saying like, oh, you know, y'all might think this is foolish, but after everything that's happened, I'm willing to be the fool, because he probably knows that there could be some good stuff out there. And I mean, obviously he mainly wants to do it because he's very interested in this girl, but also just for the sake of the community. I guess he thinks that there could be some good stuff out there, pretty much. And Ezekiel's leaving and says goodbye to Jerry. They have a nice little lighthearted scene saying goodbye, which is nice. And we get the shot here of some city. Now, I don't know what city this is. If you guys are good at city skylines and you can tell exactly what city that is, I'd be very impressed. But I don't know. Could be any city. It's a city near Virginia, obviously, and they're headed north. We know they're headed north. So what could it be? I don't know. What's interesting is Michonne is also headed north. Obviously, they're not going to run into each other. I wouldn't think they would, but they're both headed north. Well, I mean, maybe they're more headed west, actually, because she said she was in West Virginia, which is kind of like northwest of where they are in Virginia, because they're like kind of near DC, sort of, so it'd be like West Virginia. Yeah, I guess that's kind of more west, but still north. So I feel like it would be really coincidental for them to cross paths in the show, so I'm sure they're not going to, but I feel like that would be coincidental. But it's just nice to note that they are headed basically in a similar direction. Michonne's just going off north. She said she was going to head north. We don't know exactly where she's going. She's just looking, pretty much. But like I said, if you know what city that is, let me know. And the last shot we have here is Beta finding Alpha's head, or at least he finds it eventually at some point, and I guess he brings the head back. They're probably going to do some weird shit with the head. I have no idea. Probably saying some weird, like, thing to her. I don't know. Just, like, praying to. It's basically like a prayer. Like, that's what the whispers are. They're very cultish. They do these weird chants. I'm sure he's just chanting something to her head, probably telling her that, oh, we're going to raise hell amongst the dead or whatever. And then at the end, Beta is rallying up the whispers and the herd, and I'm assuming that's how the episode's going to end. I hope, for the love of God, give us that awesome shot in the comics where we just see the mega herd, like an overhead shot of just a mega herd headed towards Alexandria, or at least towards the direction of the communities, and everyone's like, holy shit, that's a big ass herd. That'd be awesome. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about this next episode in the comment section below. Do you think it's gonna be good? Do you think it's gonna be bad? What are your predictions? Let me know. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.